The Wild Man of Guadalcanal. October 1942. The Solomon Islands. A tiny mosquito-infested strip of land called Guadalcanal is the only thing standing between the Japanese Empire and total victory in the Pacific. In the skies above, the Japanese Zero is king. It's faster, more agile, and more lethal than anything the Americans have. To the experts, the American F4F Wildcat was a flying coffin, technically inferior in every way. But the Japanese hadn't accounted for a cigar-chomping Marine from South Dakota named Joe Foss.
Joe Foss didn't arrive at Henderson Field to a hero's welcome. He arrived to a nightmare. The runway was a pit of black mud and coral dust. Malaria was thinning the ranks, and every single day, the Japanese Tokyo Express sent waves of bombers and elite fighters to wipe them off the map. Foss knew his Wildcat couldn't outturn a Zero. If he tried to dogfight on their terms, he was dead. So he changed the rules. He used the Wildcat's one advantage, its rugged weight, to dive from high altitudes like a hawk. It wasn't about finesse, it was about the thatch weave. It was about teamwork, high-speed passes, and nerves of absolute steel. He turned a defensive disadvantage into a predatory hunting style. The pace of the Cactus Air Force was grueling. On October 9th, Foss got his first kill. Within a week, he was an ace. The pressure was relentless. Engines were failing, parts were being scavenged from wrecks, and the pilots were flying on pure adrenaline and caffeine. Yet through the smoke and the chaos, the numbers kept climbing. 5 kills, 12, 19. Foss wasn't just surviving, he was dismantling the myth of Japanese invincibility. On one single day in October, he downed 5 enemy planes in a single afternoon. He became the Wild Man of Guadalcanal, leading his Joe's flight of pilots into the teeth of the enemy again and again. By the time Joe Foss was rotated out of the front lines, only 63 days had passed. In that short window, he had downed 26 enemy aircraft, tying the legendary World War I record held by Eddie Rickenbacker. He proved that it wasn't the machine that won the war, but the man inside it. Joe Foss left the islands as a hero, a Medal of Honor recipient, and the greatest flying ace the Marine Corps had ever seen. The Zero was faster, the Zero was sleeker, but Joe Foss was the one who owned the sky.